So the first task for today is to have a look on the IoT. So that what is the IoT system? And that can be found from our learning pages from here in Finnish or in English. So if I'm explaining today in English, so our Finnish students can open this document in Finnish. So it's the same pictures, the same text and so on. So I'll open mine in English because I will be explaining in English. So Internet of Things, the system. So we have a look at what is the whole system behind the term Internet of Things. And then we can define it as a physical system, a system consisting of computer components, the communication networks and so on. And on the other hand, we can define it as a system of operating blocks. The blocks are not the same as the hardware. It's like a block diagram of the functions the system is doing. So it's not the same as the diagram of what equipment are there. But first we have a look on the equipment, so the physical system. And the physical system of the IoT is that now we have been working with the microcontrollers and the sensors. So we are somewhere here in the level on the lower side of this picture. So we could have the sensors in some kind of vehicle. So we have a microcontroller there, and the vehicle is out there somewhere, like in, let's say, in Europe or somewhere. And then it's sending the information to our cloud platform. And we are, let's say, managing the transport with our vehicle fleet. So we get that information from where the vehicles are, wherever they are. So if it is a transportation into some really distant location where we can't be sure if there is a mobile phone network or anything like that, a communication available locally, then we use the satellite communication. So there is a few satellite network operators which are offering the data communication services. So these are popular, for example, of course, on the marine traffic. So the ships traveling there at the open sea, because there are no mobile phone networks in there. So then the only option is to use the satellite communication. So the satellite communication is existing. It's used every day. There is no problem with that because it's really used on different kind of businesses like the transport with the marine transport over the seas. That can be used also if we would like to send our normal truck or whatever to a really distant location. We can just make a contract with the satellite operator and get the small, like a modem, into our vehicle, and then it is sending the data to the satellite network, and then from there it goes to the normal internet and then to our IoT platform. More normal is that the vehicles are depending on the availability of the mobile phone networks. So the 5G or 4G mobile phone networks, and quite often for simple messages, it is still the second generation mobile phone network, where it is the information is sent, for example, just as a text message in certain format text message. In the length of the text message, you can actually put a lot of information, and then on the other end, you can just decode the information from that text message. That goes in a really traditional system as well. But anyway, finally, the information will be there in the internet and then in your IoT platform. Then the second option from the technical point of view about connecting the sensors is that we are in some kind of building. If we are at home and in a normal family home, let's say an apartment in a block of flat or a family house, and would like to follow that, how our heating system is operating, how if there is an air conditioning, how the air conditioning is operating. And then access control as well, that if we would like to see that with which identity the door was opened and things like that. Then it's possible to buy for the home applications certain kind of home automation systems. Those are offered by a number of companies. And in those, the communication is typically in a network like Z-Wave or Zigbee or Bluetooth Low Energy and so on. So there is a gateway in the house, and that's connected to the normal internet. And then the IoT gateway communicates over the Zigbee or Z-Wave or Bluetooth Low Energy to the sensors and some actuators if we control something over the network. So then the communication here is the Z-Wave, Zigbee, and then there is an IoT gateway. And then we are in the internet again. And then, like in our experiments in the laboratory now that we are doing with our small microcontroller, we are using the wireless LAN network. So, but here there is the idea still in this part of the picture that the sensor is some special network like in the Z-Wave. It sends to an IoT gateway, and the gateway is over the wireless LAN with the connection to a normal router, and then finally to the internet. So there is always this special network involved. But then, like in our laboratory, in the center of the picture here, there is a drawing with the wireless LAN, so the normal Wi-Fi network only. So our sensor devices are communicating over the Wi-Fi, and then there is a Wi-Fi router, and then the message goes to finally to the internet. So we are in the laboratory experiments close to this option here of the hardware setup. And then on the right side of the picture, this is trying to, let's say, explain that there is some kind of process in the industry. Really the lower right corner means the process in an industry. And then there are programmable logic controllers controlling the process in the industry. So there is like a conveyor line here and some kind of silo where we can load materials on the conveyor, and that kind of activities are controlled by automation system, the programmable logic controller. It's a special dedicated computer hardware made for that purpose. And then that's connected to the Ethernet and to the fiber optic cable, and then finally to the internet. And if we would like to get the information from these sensors into our system, it's into the Internet of Things system, it's possible. So we can get the sensor information from these sensors up to our IoT. And then if you are in an, let's say, office building, like our school premises or whatever, then it's possible that there are some sensors which are connected to the internet through the house automation system. So there is a management system managing the heating in the house, the air conditioning in the house, or the building, or the heating in the building, the air conditioning in the building, the ventilation in the building, and so on. There is hundreds of sensors in this one building, and those are already connected to a network. It's a building automation network, or building management network, or facilities management system. And from there, the sensor information can be forwarded then to our IoT platform. So that was the lower part of the picture. So that's the hardware in there. So some kind of sensors, microcontrollers or other kind of controllers, and then some communication through the wireless or wired network. And then anyway, when it is Internet of Things, the information is somewhere there in the normal open internet. And then it goes up to IoT platform. So today we will have a closer look what kind of product is an IoT platform. And from the hardware point of view, we can have the platform running on our own server. And then depending on the capacities we need, the server could be even a Raspberry Pi computer, so one single board computer, or the server could be installed in some kind of server cluster if we have a lot big need for the capacity, big need for the communications and so on. But from the hardware point of view, the IoT platform can also be just a cloud service. We buy the service from companies like IBM Cloud Services, so there is the Watson IoT, or we buy it from the Microsoft, so there is an Azure IoT Hub, or we buy it from the Amazon, then there is an Amazon AWS services. So that's about the picture of the hardware involved.